the Payday 2 PS4 tutorial series. Today we'll be doing the jewelry store. This is widely considered one of the easier beginner heists, but on death sentence difficulty, none of them are really easy. This one included because usually you can get to the back of the jewelry store, but now it will be fenced off if you are on, I believe, mayhem difficulty or higher. For assets for this one, I do body bags. I don't do expert driver because you don't need it if you do the whole mission in stealth. You never need an expert driver unless they catch you or you go loud or whatever. My loadout is always the same. It'll be the same for every video except for my equipment. The Judge with a bunch of different attachments for stealth. The Car 4 with a lot of attachments for stealth. It's one of the best primary weapons for stealthing. And then equipment always changes with me, but I am doing ECM jammer for this one, and it doesn't really matter what you use for your secondary, but I like an extra body bag case, and I'll show you why. There's a specific way I do this heist that I like a lot of body bags lying around, which is also why I buy the body bag asset, and that's the only thing I buy there. The only other thing to know is that I do use the robber perk deck. That is the deck to use for stealth every time for many, many reasons. Okay, so you can scope out the jewelry store as much as you want to. The main thing you're looking for is, are there any guards that are rotating in and out? You don't have to worry about cameras in this particular level. And be very careful right here. This intersection, you can get caught bumping into somebody. But really all we're looking for right now, there's the safe. There's only one in this level. Really what we're looking for is wandering guards inside the store for now. There are none, so we're going to leave. Usually on jewelry store in most difficulties, you would do this by going to the back of the store first and securing that. As I told you guys, we can't do that because of the fences. So the way I found to do it on this difficulty level is to actually start on the street. And you're going to start, the way I like to start is either in this alleyway right here, or this hot dog stand is sometimes here, it's sometimes not. If it's here, it just makes things harder. The reason for that is because if the hot dog stand is not here, both of these police officers will not be here. This whole thing will be gone, and both officers will be gone. So it'll be a lot easier for you to take the whole store down without this whole thing right in the middle of the street. But if it is here, then that's okay. We'll just have to take down all these guys too. The thing to know about officers in blue uniforms is for some reason they don't have pagers. So you can just kill these guys outright, but if you allow them to live, they're still going to radio you in just like a regular cop would. So we're going to start here, and we're going to wait for this guy to move. Yeah, we want them clumped together as much as possible. Oh, it would have been nice if they both had moved over there, because I really want to take out as much of the street in one blow, in one place as possible, to be honest. So this guy's moving. This should work fine. We'll see.
Let's do this thing.
Hey, they're gonna bring in the big guns if you kill civilians.
Okay, so my aim was horrible, but I was able to clear this a little bit. Enough for now that people shouldn't see too much. Now, those guys obviously are going to see, and that's okay.
No civilian casualties, remember?
You're just going to, unfortunately, you're going to have to be very cold about it. Oh. And just start taking people down as long as they're not in view of the front of the jewelry store. And I've found that while this is pretty anxiety-inducing and stressful, it does work almost every single time for me. As long as I can keep it in control like I am right now. See, this guy's not great. That's why I body bagged a few of those guys and took them behind that car, just to give it a little bit more room for these guys to get out of view of the jewelry store windows. I think this guy is fine. I don't think there's a problem here. Oh, I have 0 body bags, so I should probably do something about
Body
that.
bag case right here.
Oh, and he's actually going to go back to the jewelry store, which isn't great news. But I think he is the last civilian. That is up right now. So that's another nice thing about the judge being a secondary. You can launch people wherever you want to. So see how I just launched him over these things and out of view completely of the windows. Just in case there's any other civilians. I didn't really need to bag him, but whatever. The judge is great for that. You can even launch people under cameras. You can launch them into corners. So the judge is a unique tool to have for stealth. So we'll go over here. We'll get an eye. We'll get 1 body bag and an eye on the alleyway real quick over here across the street, because I want to see how many guards are around there. There's also sometimes a lady, yep, there she is, who smokes. Now, I'm not sure what's going on back there, so I think I'm just going to leave her for now. She's too much of a risk. That's what you learn after a while playing this game. You just do anything you can to mitigate risk, because it's too hard to get back to these points when you go stealth. Alright, so I'm going to put an ECN jammer on, and I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to start telling people to get down and shooting them. Unfortunately, it's just much better to shoot people. You don't have them risking running away. You don't have to tie their hands. It's just very quick. Sometimes they don't listen to you if you don't have enough intimidation, so that can be a problem as well. There's all sorts of reasons. It's just better to shoot them rather than tie them up. But because I know there aren't any cops patrolling here, there's not too much risk in just saving a little bit of money and tying some of these guys up. I'm moving them out of the way right now of this door because of that right there. While guards aren't coming, civilians are. And I don't want him to trigger too early in the hall, and then a guard outside sees he's panicking, and then it triggers the guard. So it's just another way of just mitigating risk, making sure that you're doing everything you can to not get caught by one of these guys. So at this point I'm going to use Sixth Sense, which is the ability, if you stand still for 3 seconds, it'll mark people within a 10-meter radius of you. So this allows me to see basically through walls. See, I can see all these guys, and now I know that there's no one in this office, which is great. So the only thing left to do is to kill the officers in the back, patrolling the outside. It doesn't look like there's one around here, but again, I'm going to use Sixth Sense, and I'm going to see, boom, there's one, and he I think patrols. I think he actually moves around. In this level, guards can go from patrolling to stationary. Sometimes, I don't know why that is, but for some reason some guards just stop moving forever, and they'll never start moving again. So that might be what's going on here. I'm going to do Sixth Sense one more time, and then, cool. So we know he's there. I'm going to do Sixth Sense over here as well, because there's usually a guard hanging out on this side also. Okay, it looks like we're good. So we're going to lock this. Interesting little fact, I don't know why this is either, but when you are lock-picking anything, like now, your Sixth Sense doesn't work. So you can think you're standing still and highlighting people, but you actually are not until you're done lock-picking. So just a little fact to know. That's cost me a game before. So here's the guy who is stationary. We're just going to take him out. And that should be the whole level's worth of guards.
Oh, no, I didn't call you. Must be some kind of.
It's actually the whole level worth of everybody. There's no civilians left. You've what they call locked down the level. So now that you've locked down the level, you can get to the good stuff. And I'm probably going to fast forward through a lot of this because you guys don't need to see like 250 seconds or whatever it is. Yeah, 250 seconds of a drill. But before I do, just know that you want to go through this store very carefully if you want to get all the loot. It seems like a small store, but there is stuff everywhere. And you can get a lot on this one heist. We're 8 minutes in right now. So you can get a pretty good profit if you go through it all and make sure that you collect everything. A strategy I use for that is I just break all the glass everywhere. So you know you've gone somewhere if you've broken the glass. And then once all the glass is broken, then you know, like, hey, I've definitely cleared out the whole store. In the back here, there will always be these display cases that you can break for extra stuff. There will be ones over here as well. I don't believe there are any in the other office. The other office is usually pretty barren of any loot. Oh, package, though, if you're interested in those. And then, yeah, the front of the store is the complicated part. This is where you got to be really careful. Just go through it very methodically and break every piece of glass that you go to, and then you should be good to go. So that's pretty much all there is to Jewelry Store on the hardest difficulty, and I definitely recommend doing this a few times before upgrading to other heists. But this is a really fun, quick one to do to get a good amount of profit and to practice your stealth skills. So it'll be about 2 seconds for you, but it'll be a few minutes for me, so see you in a second. Okay, so I have all the bags in from the front. You can see on the top left 7 of 8 bags. I think it's always that way. The safe contains some loose cash and usually, I think always actually, 2 jewelry bags. So you can get an extra one. And oh, by the way, you can see like I've smashed everything. So I went through it just systematically, smashed every piece of glass, so now I know I've checked it all, and I can leave with 100% completion. When you get jewelry, each bag is going to be 5,000, but each extra bag you get gives you quite a hefty amount more. So make sure you don't just get all 8 bags, you get that 9th bag too. So now we are ready to go. And that is the jewelry heist, the jewelry store right there. 230,000 instead of 5. So a big difference. You want to make sure you get that extra bag. So that's jewelry store on the hardest difficulty. It should be smooth sailing on any other difficulty but that one from there. So hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe and like if you did, and I'll see you next time for the next tutorial heist on our Payday PS4 series.